That's my baby. I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
What up, fam? Good afternoon. We are back for another episode of our Athlete Spotlight. I'm the host, Stephen Rochelle, as per usual here, and being joined to my right here, Lions fighter, Crystal Van. Is that Van Wyck? Is it?
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect.
All right, that worked out. I got that part right. So yeah, you got a big fight lined up here against Andy Nguyen for Lions fight March 23rd. Real quick before we get into that, want to get our sponsor shout out the way, and this interview is brought to you by Body Check Wellness, and they are a line of products that promotes wellness, balance, recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extract, blends, gummies, topicals. Use promo code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And we are going to be here, and here we go. We are with Miss Crystal Van Wyck. So,
hi.
First and foremost, really appreciate the time. I know, as it gets closer to fight camp, it gets really crazy. People don't really. So me personally, I know how it goes. I really appreciate you taking the time out this afternoon.
Shame, thank you. No problem.
So let's get into it. Not a whole lot of people really know about you. When I was talking to Scott, the PR guy over at Lions Fight, he was like, "Listen, you got to get Crystal. I got to get more people to talk about this girl. She's amazing." I'm like, "All right, man, let's set it up. Let's set it up." So here we are. I always say, most athletes are like onions. Let's start peeling back some layers and let's find out, who the person is behind the athlete as well. So. I guess let everyone know who you are. Scott was really excited about your journey, how you got to this point. I guess let us know, from starting in MMA and now you're transitioning over to Muay Thai, etc.
Yes.
Let everyone know a little bit about you.
Okay, great. Okay, I'll try to make it as in a nutshell as possible because it's quite a long story. But so obviously I'm from South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa, and I did group fitness training before. I was a group fitness instructor. That's what I did for my job, before I moved here to the US. And when my family decided that we were going to take this big relocation and come to the US, I basically gave up everything, my job, my life as a group fitness instructor, my friends, everything back home. And I came and we moved here. I think a couple of months down the line, I went into a very bad depression because training and exercise, that was my life, it's something that helped me mentally and physically. And so giving it up and coming to the US, I wasn't really doing anything. And so my husband, he was working at the UFC gym, and I decided to take a few classes, just to help me with the dark place that I was in at the time. And I fell in love with it. I started with jiu-jitsu, and, people convinced me. He was like, "Why don't you do a jiu-jitsu tournament?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll just do one and then let's leave it at that. That'll be fun." And I did that and I loved it. I did well. And so I went on to people saying, "Why don't you do an MMA fight?" And I was like, okay, an MMA fight, why not? Let me just do it. 6 months of training. I was thrown in the deep end and I did an MMA fight and I did really well. I loved it. I really found something to put all my energy into, and it really helped me, And so I started fighting and training, and my husband, he's been my coach from day one, from scratch. And I did a couple MMA fights, and I just sewed everything into that, and I went through some rough patches, you know, in between. A lot of losses, and you know, like very little winning, but I grew, you know, because I had very little experience. I'd gone in there after 6 months and just like, you know, was doing full on MMA. It's a lot to learn.
It's not an uncommon story here. Like, it's like, you know, the athlete falls in love with the sport, and then just like, you know, sometimes you have opportunities you probably should say no to, and just like you're like I just want to learn. So win, lose, or draw, I'm just taking it as a growing experience. And you know, promoters don't really like that, managers don't really like that, but sometimes, you know, the athlete wants what the athlete wants.
Yes, and I'm like a very fearless person. I'm like, well, throw me in the deep end. Why not? You know, I've got nothing to lose. And I really, I ended up really improving with every fight. I got better, and I did a Muay Thai fight, and I won a championship bout. And I was like, okay, I think I'm like quite good at the striking thing, you know. It was so much easier, and I kind of like, it felt different. Like I really, really fell in love with Muay Thai. And my husband, obviously the striking style from the beginning was Muay Thai.
Yeah. So like, I gotta ask you, so like, what kind of like makes that transition? Like we've been hearing a lot lately where some fighters who kind of come from the MMA background are kind of, you know, love the sport, but you know, are finding opportunities elsewhere and kind of really falling in love with that. Like you're seeing a lot of fighters and boxers for that matter go and switch around. You see boxers going to bare knuckle, boxers going to MMA, etc. You see things kind of floating around there. So
yeah,
you know, I mean, it's kind of interesting. And then like we always see MMA fighters go into Muay Thai. Some stay, some don't. So there's some things where you're just kind of, you know, using it for more experience opportunities, and you're going back to MMA, or is it something where Muay Thai is kind of where you want to kind of grow your roots moving forward?
I'm definitely taking this time and putting everything into Muay Thai right now, because I want to grow in that style. I love it so much. I watch Muay Thai fights all day, every day. Like I'm in love with the sport, and I want to go to Thailand. I want to fight and train in Thailand. Like I just want to go full out in this. It's the style that I love, and I want to go back into MMA eventually. But I first want to take time and do this. This is what I'm doing right now. Yeah. So.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, it's one of the things, like, you know, Muay Thai, especially just pure Muay Thai, not because, you know, so a lot of people, you know, tend to just do kickboxing. You know, Muay Thai is a lot more fun because, you know, you get use of all the limbs, the elbows and the knees.
Exactly.
You know,
all those knees. I love it.
People don't understand that. Is that one of the reasons you kind of went to Muay Thai over kickboxing as well?
I just love elbows. I love knees. I love the clinch. You know, like I just love it. Like
what's one of your things that, like, obviously, you know Muay Thai, we love knees and elbows. You got any spinning attacks you like to throw out there at times?
I definitely do, but I'll keep that for surprise.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to name it. You don't have to name it. As long as you say, yeah, I like to do spinning stuff. You guys, you have to tune in on the 12th to find out how much I like it.
Exactly.
I mean, and another thing, you know, obviously this fight, this is a fun matchup. You know, I've been a supporter and fan of Andy for quite some time. I'm not going to keep it, and that ain't any secret. You know, she's always fun and entertaining. She's definitely you know, someone worth tuning into. Is this one of those matchups where you're excited? It's like yeah, I know this girl's going to come to fight no matter what. And hey, I'm going to get maybe a few more eyes on me as well, because she's just a bit mildly entertaining.
Yeah, she's a very experienced fighter. She's had a lot of fights, and I kind of know her on a different level. She kind of was like one of the interviewers for one of my fights before. But then she kind of came at me on social media. This is before this fight was supposed to happen. you know, and she made up some lies about me. So I'm not her best friend, bro. Like I'm not a big fan of her. She kind of disrespected me, so I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I've been waiting.
So we got a
I've
little
been training for a
on her
long time
shoulder
for
for this
this.
one,
So,
right?
sorry.
She gave you some headlines. Got a chip on your shoulder, so I think
she
maybe we need
disrespected
a
me. So
couple pieces in between you before we go to weigh-ins. We don't need some extracurriculars, right?
yeah, well, we'll see on March 12th. You know, that's when we get to settle this. So I'm excited.
I mean, but for sure, I'm like, regardless of the extra stuff to talk and all that. I mean, this for your style. You really think this is a fun matchup? And how do you see this fight playing out for you? I mean,
I think it's going to be a great fight. Honestly, it's going to be a good fight.
In there with a lot of the top fighters in the world. Regardless, we're talking about Muay Thai or MMA, and she works with a lot of the best fighters in the world.
Right.
As well. So I want to kind of get your thoughts on, like, the style of the matchup and how you think it plays out for you.
I think it's an awesome matchup. You've got two MMA girls, you know, stepping in the ring, doing Muay Thai, even though Muay Thai is kind of more my style. And I think we're both going to come out there fighting like hard, you know. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm an aggressive fighter. So, yeah, I hope she's ready for that. I hope she's ready for the pressure.
Like I said, I think it's going to be a fun fight.
It's going to be great.
Not one of these fighters who likes to run around and like she likes to fight. So
she does. I've got respect for that.
No, I was watching some of your clips and I like her. I seen her her fighting style as well.
Yeah.
Fans, if you haven't tuned in to watch them fight, either one of these women fight before, make sure you tune in on the 12th, because this should be one of those fights. I mean, Lions fights have had some amazing female Muay Thai cards, events, fights put together over the handful of years that they've been around, and I expect nothing less from you two either. This should be for sure.
Yes, it's going to be an exciting fight. It's not going to be boring, that's for sure.
For sure. Now, I always ask this one, the nickname, the Lovely, is that just from, and I always ask this one, like, is that something you give out, or is that something, teammate, friends, etc.? Like, I always have this rule: you should never give yourself a moniker like that.
I didn't give myself this name. Actually, I had a different name. I don't even remember what it was now, to be honest. I had something different, like, and then my husband and another guy that was busy doing my branding and like our branding and stuff, they came up with this name, and they were like, we came up with this name. And I was like, okay, why? And they were like, because you're like a pretty girl, and like we love watching
I know
we love watching you fight. Like, it's just like very good, like an entertaining. So the Lovely, that's gonna be your name. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll take it. And it grew on me. So I can't go back now. I like it.
Hey man, like, and I get it. Like, you see a lot of it. A lot of the female athletes, especially in combat sports, are kind of brained in themselves especially the prototypical what they call the female look for what they're promoting now. And I guess you kind of fit that mold. Athletic, blonde hair. Obviously you're not hard on the eyes either. So I mean, hey man, if it's there, you have it. Take advantage of it while you have the chance.
Right. Thank you.
I mean, some of the ladies take it a little further with that. Who are more sure of themselves, and they have their OnlyFans accounts, etc., like that.
No, I didn't have that.
It's a crazy time to be a female athlete in the sports world today.
Yeah, no judgment. I just don't have it, I guess. Yeah.
Now, other thing I noticed, like, obviously, you had uprooted a lot of things to kind of move your combat sports career, regardless if we're talking Muay Thai, MMA. And I think I read a post. It sounds like you and the other half are going back across sometime soon and moving back.
That's correct. Yeah. So we're moving back to South Africa to fight and train, and there's a lot of cool opportunities that side. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I cannot say
Are
yet
you,
what it is gonna be.
Are you bringing a
but
team back, or are you bringing a team back with you, or is it you're stable to the point where you can both live there, train there, and also when you have to come to the States and get supplemental training, that you can also go ahead and take care of that?
I actually have a whole team waiting for me on the other side. So coaches and school and everything. So I'm kind of looking forward to training back with some of those people. It's going to be good for me. Yeah.
So you're gonna enjoy the time catching up with the old fam that's probably missed you over your absence over the last few years, right?
Yes, and you know what? It's going to be great because there's freedom to travel. I want to go to Thailand and Mauritius and go train and fight that side. So yeah, there's some great opportunities waiting on the other side. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Hey, listen, when you have the opportunity to kind of get the training you want, where you're the most comfortable, where you feel the best, take advantage of it. But
Yes, exactly.
it's
Why
not
not?
you're not going to be able to. You still have those connections here in the States that you're going to be able to do what you need to do.
Correct. Yes, definitely. The doors are wide open everywhere.
Oh yeah, and you see it all the time. Like look at what Paige Van's like. Everyone thought like, oh, Paige isn't gonna be. She's just gonna be some scrub and Bellator after she leaves the UFC. What's gonna happen, or what's gonna happen? Well, she got a pretty big contract from bare knuckle boxing.
I mean,
and
seriously.
people don't even feel like she's probably the best female fighter under contract with them. So I think there's opportunities here. And other windows too, like you've seen what other athletes have done in the past, like not to be cliched, like go look what Ronda Rousey's done. She's with WWE and movies and etc. like that. But even like Chris Cyborg and other athletes who've been in movies and gotten into other projects because of things that they've done through combat sports.
Right.
And I just tell my girls all the time, like when because they both used to train and then they've both taken some time away over the past few years. I'm like, don't stay away from it too long, because listen, I'm not telling you girls that you guys gotta be the top of the food chain fighter and sacrifice and all this, but there's doors that it opens and there's tools that it gives you being in combat sports that people really don't understand that helps just the person in everyday life. You're seeing it, a lot of it implemented into, a lot of police reform. We have a guy here just outside of Philadelphia that's working a lot with the police to kind of work with them on kind of hand in hand with that it is combined, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, etc. Hand in hand.
Awesome. I love that.
That's close quarters training.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Especially with all the craziness we're dealing with in this world right now.
Exactly. In today's time, you need to be able to you need to be ready. You need to be prepared in all directions.
There's nothing wrong with having too many tools in your tool belt, especially in
you can never have too many. You're right.
So obviously you train with the husband and all that, right? So how's it, what does he do? Like is he still kind of on the regional scene? Does he compete? What is he doing?
No, he's just a coach and a business guy, and we were working in ministry in church. So but he's a business guy and he's my coach. So that's important. I need that.
We're calling up some more of these cliches, right?
Seriously, I literally couldn't do this without him. So he's my rock in all this.
Hey, listen, we all need our other hat to hold us up so we can take care of things we need and concentrate on things while they're able to kind of, some of the things that we can kind of not really have to be able to put up with, that they can kind of deal with it, so we can focus on what we need to. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about sports, fighting, life, business, etc. You always need that rock to hold you up.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what other things that you kind of do outside of the ring cage that you think is going to kind of be something that you want to work on, that you want to kind of see put out there?
What do you mean? Sorry.
like you're talking about opportunities that it brings you with that. Like, so what are things that you hope it comes from your career? What are things that you would like to see? Like looking into like besides fighting. Like obviously we know you want to compete and be
Yes.
one of the best fighters in the world. We're talking
Right.
MMA, Muay Thai, whatever. But
Yes.
we're talking those opportunities. Like what doors would you like to see open? What and after those doors are open, what are some of the things that you would like to kind of like bring like I said, like all you athletes are like, what like we all have things we want to work on. Like I have things that I want to work on outside of A2D, my kids, like we want to bring things to the world, like light to the world, right?
Yes. So
what are or you want to see that things that you might want to get into? And
yeah, my big desire is like, first of all, to become the best athlete I could be in the sport, number one. Number two, I would like this to inspire people that thought that they couldn't do it. I want people who really are at the bottom, who think that it's not possible to reach the top, to believe again. And then honestly, the bigger picture, I want to coach kids. I want to coach people that are drug addicts, that are struggling, that need rehabilitation. I want to coach people to be better in their lives and in themselves. I want to use mixed martial arts to help people.
That's actually a really cool point, because we just had a former Philadelphia athlete, Chris Terry, and he was a hockey defenseman for our Flyers here in Philadelphia. He gotten away from broadcasting, and he said he had this big project going on. He's actually opening a self-help rehab facility in kind of one of the worst areas here in Philadelphia. So I think that's kind of cool that you want to kind of work on them in another way to kind of help develop them and reform them in other ways. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to have some kind of gym facility, because we had our own gym here. We have our own gym here, and we people don't pay to come and train. We train them for free, and we help them to fight and become athletes. And the amazing things that have come out of our school is like life-changing, and I want to be able to take that to the next level. I want to help people in South Africa. I want people to have a place they can come to where they feel they can express themselves through mixed martial arts, So yeah, that's the bigger ultimate goal.
Now, like obviously you said you want to be world champion and stuff like that, and as combat sports is more well accepted around, would you like to hopefully see Muay Thai become more of an Olympic thing, and is that something you would want to do?
Oh yes, I would love to. Honestly, like I said, I would like.
We already have kickboxing, so like,
right.
I don't know if they're actually allow Muay Thai, but I mean, we're coming more combat sports as a whole is becoming more and more acceptable. So why not?
And I see it, and I'm willing to push myself to.
Like even if you have the padding and you could still throw knees and elbows without opening somebody up, it's still point fighting. You just
I mean, I like the
fact pad the knee up, the elbow up, and you're not going to be able to bust them open or beat them up too much. But it's kind of like you're. I mean, I lobby for all of it. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I think all I think all of it should be Olympic events, and it's
I agree.
I mean we're having breakdancing as a freaking Olympic event. Why not?
Exactly. It's not boring to watch. It's super exciting. So let's
I don't know why that is. I guess the Olympic committee decided one day that they were just going to give other people a chance who may not really be as athletic a chance to win or represent their country. I don't know. Like
maybe that's what it is, because it doesn't make sense, but maybe they are giving a platform to people to certain sports that don't have a platform. That could be it.
That's true. Now, before we get ready to wrap this up, what I typically do is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, let everyone know where to kind of find you, and everything that you're doing, everything you're getting into, sponsors, anyone else you want to show some love to. The time is yours.
Thank you very much for having me. First of all, appreciate this time. Go check out my Instagram, Crystal VAN WYK. Go check my Instagram and my Facebook out. Follow me. Follow my fight journey. And thank you to my sponsors. Bloom Hemp, amazing products. Vital Proteins, Iron Jaw Mouth Guards, Pro Bev, Morningstar. Also want to thank my manager, Sean White from Muay Thai Promotions. He's been amazing. I couldn't have had these opportunities without him. And I just want to thank, obviously, my coach and everybody, all my teammates for supporting me, and just everybody, like all my fans. Thank you guys for, always lifting me up and motivating me. Appreciate the love. Yes, thank you.
Well, we thank you for your time this afternoon, evening, depending on where everyone's at and tuning in.
Thank you. Yes.
Best of skill for you the upcoming fight.
Thank you.
I expect nothing less from you two.
Thank you.
I say it's one of those things where I think it's going to be a battle between you two. I don't know if it's one of those things. Like, I think both of you are at a skill set where, hey, listen, it's a fight. Anything can happen.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where this is something where we might need the judges for. You guys are pretty closely knit in a lot of categories, and I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I really do.
Yes, me too. Me too.
But with that being said, make sure everyone tunes in. UFC Fight Pass, March 12th, Lions fight. This is now our second guest from the card. We're gonna be talking to Andy over the weekend. We're gonna have another one of the Lions fight fighters on. But right before you guys get ready to get into this, again, best of skill to all the fighters, and make sure you guys are tuned in. This should definitely be a fun one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, appreciate the time, Crystal. Let you get back to everything you're doing. I know you got something going on. Have a good one, and we'll have you on again here in the future.
Okay. Yes, of course. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, everyone. That was our guest for this afternoon for the Athlete Spotlight. We're going to be coming back on here again at 7 for Spit and Fire with Rachel Blaze. She should be on here. I believe she's going to be talking with Angela Magana. Again, if you're paying attention, they're going to be also talking to Andy Nguyen tomorrow on the Weekly Roundup. So make sure you guys are tuning in. Also, got, again, Fan Friday tonight as per usual. So, as we've been saying, like, subscribe, show some love. We got a lot of stuff going on, and appreciate everyone's support. I will see you guys tomorrow.